This program is presented by QubicaAMF, making bowling amazing.
Ah, le plaisir de découvrir ce panorama pittoresque, la ville de Poitiers, sa cathédrale ancestrale. Mais quant à nous, on va parler de modernité, on va parler d'une confrontation absolument féerique ici. Du côté de Fontaine le Comte, nous sommes au bowling La Sphère. C'est la grande finale du QubicaAMF Masters aujourd'hui. 2 candidats, un Français, Keny Billaut, qui s'est qualifié en première position, un Anglais qui s'est frayé un chemin au travers des quarts de finale et demi-finales, représentant l'Angleterre. C'est Phil the Machine Manning. Et nous, on est avec notre machine à nous. C'est la machine Bruno Bidone. Bruno, bonjour.
Bonjour Marc, ça va être un super spectacle, je pense aujourd'hui, la grande finale du Master. Et je crois que vous êtes avec nos 2 champions. Bon, Marc, je vous laisse présenter ces grands joueurs.
Merci beaucoup Bruno. En effet, grand joueur par la taille, mais aussi par le talent. Je vais démarrer avec le Français Keny Billaut, qu'on va applaudir du côté du public, s'il vous plaît. Keny, évidemment, qui va défendre les couleurs de la France. Keny qui va aborder cette finale. De quelle manière d'ailleurs, il va nous le dire.
Je vais les aborder comme une partie classique. Je vais donner mon maximum et puis on verra bien, jouer boule après boule et j'espère développer un meilleur bowling que Phil.
Voilà, étape par étape, step by step, boule après boule, chaque chose en son temps. Et puis Phil Manning, un état d'esprit également. Alors Phil, il a l'avantage d'avoir 2 matchs récemment sur évidemment les mêmes pistes. Phil, just talking about this final here up against Keny, what state of mind are you in? We saw the resilience you're capable of generating in the semi-final and the quarter-final. How do you feel now just ahead of the final?
I think we're ready. I think we can't get ourselves into any worse position than that, and having to come back in the last couple of frames to make it up. So I'm just going to take it go for it one frame at a time, and just enjoy the moment.
Voilà, Phil nous dit, je crois que je peux pas faire pire que ce que j'ai fait en demi-finale, être obligé de remonter la pente comme ça, frame après frame. Je vais faire exactement ce que, comme Keny en fait, je sais pas s'il a compris ce que Keny a dit, mais il va faire boule après boule, frame après frame, Bruno.
Thank you very much, Marc Chavet and Bruno Bidone, for that introduction and interview with our 2 competitors. And now it's time to find out who will be our QubicaAMF Masters champion. Will it be the number 1 seed Keny Billaut from France or the number 3 seed Phil the Machine Manning of England? Manning won the mixed doubles title with Yvonne Rhodes, and Billaut won the men's doubles title with David Barak. So both these players seeking their 2nd title here on the 2024-2025 Bowling Promotion Tour. As the players complete their practice, let's have a look at the stepladder and how we got here. Pepe Consteri won her first 2 matches, as well as capturing the youth stepladder before that, which made 4 wins in a row for her. Then it was Mike DeBoer defeating her and fellow Finnish PWBA member Elisa Hiltunen. Then it was Manning defeating DeBoer and David Barak in a match where Manning was down the entire match until he threw the last 5 in a row to edge out David Barak 228 to 217, which earned Manning a berth in the final to take on the very tough Keny Billaut. All our competitors have bowled 18 games of qualifying at various locations around France. We are here at Bowling La Sphère in Fontaine-le-Comte, about 200 miles southwest of Paris, for our televised final. It was Keny Billaut as the clear leader for the 18-game qualifier. He out-averaged the field by just under 10 pins a game, averaging 235.28. David Barak was second with a 225.83 average, and Manning claimed the number 3 seed, averaging 221.67. So clearly it is Keny Billaut's world, and we are all just a part of it. And as we watch these players finish up their practice, we will tell you that after the Masters stepladder finishes, we have team competition to conclude our 2024-2025 Bowling Promotion Tour season. We've already seen doubles, mixed doubles, women's and youth competition featuring bowlers from 8 different countries. This is our 21st match overall of 24. My name is Bruce Hall. I'm your international commentator for these matches. It's my pleasure to bring you the international voiceover for this exciting competition. And there is Keny Billaut throwing that purple hammer. You can count on that. Whereas Phil Manning has gone with a variety of different pieces. He had the Optimum Idol Solid, and he's got a more aggressive ball as well he might be throwing. We'll see what he chooses to go with here as these lanes break down. We are, of course, on the Brunswick Gateway Arch, 42 feet, 9.3 to 1, 26 mil oil pattern, but it has been beaten up pretty good. We're in our 7th match now on this oiling, and we'll see how the lanes break down and how the players continue to adapt to that change. We would like to thank Storm for sponsoring our Women's Series and QubicaAMF for their continued sponsorship of the Masters Series. We'd also like to thank our institutional partner, National Sports Agency, as well as the regions of Normandy, Brittany, and New Aquitaine, the departments of Calvados, La Manche, Dille-en-Vilaine, Pays de Loire, and La Vienne, as well as the cities of Rennes, Chateaubriand, and Fontaine-le-Comte for hosting our Bowling Promotion Tour for 2024 and 2025. Looks like our referee is getting ready to kick off the match here. I believe it will be Phil Manning kicking off the match on the left lane, and of course Keny Billaut has his choice of starting lane, being the #1 seed. And while they are getting ready to do this, there's an Ion Pro that Phil is toying around with. Again, we'll see what piece he finally goes with during the match. While we wait for the referee to kick us off, I will tell you that the 2025-2026 Bowling Promotion Tour season is being organized as we speak. In fact, paperwork has been sent out for that. So if you're interested, please go to the Bowling Promotion Tour website and contact my friend Bruno Bidone and say you're interested in the tour. You can get more information and the paperwork you'll need to sign up for that tour. And it's very exciting. Let's listen to Philippe Sainville kick off our match.
To play this final, Keny has chosen the lane number 6, so Phil will start on lane number 5. Good luck, Phil. Good luck, Keny.
All right, thank you, Philippe. And here we go. And as advertised, it will be Phil Manning on the left lane. And let's see what piece he chooses. The more aggressive ball, he's going to try to get left with his feet and go around the oil pattern. Again, 9.3 to 1, so fairly high concentration of oil in the middle of the lane. The pocket has been very accessible, and indeed, Phil Manning has taken advantage of that to maximum effect, especially later in the matches. And he starts off here right up the track and leaves a flat 10, so a pretty good shot to kick things off. And here we go for the 2024-2025 QubicaAMF Masters Stepladder Championship match. And Phil comes up a little bit light. That's a classic flat 10. The 6 lays in the gutter, and he'll go left cross lane at this 10 pin. And there he goes and converts the spare, so no trouble there. Of course, Phil, of course, married to Becca Manning, who we saw earlier in the mixed doubles stepladder, as well as the women's stepladder. And now our first look at Keny Billaut for a non-two-hander. He's got an incredibly powerful release and a strong game. This gentleman is 29 years old. He's been bowling for 19 years. And again, averaged 235 in the qualifying, just dominating the 18-game qualifier around the 3 different locations in France. And let's see how he does with that first shot. Again, he strokes through it with all that power, gets up and scrambles the rack for an opening strike for Keny Billaut, and why not? Look at that release, look at that rotation. You can see the ball come off the dry boards, and the outside turns up and scrambles the rack there. Watch this great knee bend. Look at that power. That's a real good picture of how you get leverage and power into a bowling ball to get it to turn up and get all that power to the pins and throw strikes. Now look at how much time Keny takes wiping off the ball. This is a characteristic of urethane. The oil stays on the outside of the shell, and so you have to spend a long time or longer time than you normally would with reactive. With reactive, quite often by the time you get to wipe the ball off, a lot of the oil has soaked into the ball itself. And so it's not a factor for the next shot, but unfortunately it makes the ball full of oil after a few games. So it kind of trade-offs for each of those surfaces. Here's Billaut in the left lane. It gets it out to the dry, turns it up and stuffs it again. Great shot there by Keny Billaut. And watch this ball friendly on the 8-pin. He definitely was a little bit high in the pocket, and look at that 8-pin goes out late. We've seen many shots like that leave that 8-pin. And indeed, he gets it that time and takes the early 10-pin lead with a double right off the bat. And I would advise Phil Manning not to wait to his traditional back 5 in a row. He may be out of wood by then if he can't figure out how to strike early in this match. Another pocket shot, and he gets the strike. Good shot there by Phil. And this is a kind of a hit we call the can opener. And let's watch again, look at that release there. Nice solid at the line, good balance. Watch the 6 and the 10 just kind of open up, kind of lean over to the right. A lot of times a hit like that will get you the weak 10, but the 3-pin does the job there. It takes out both the 6 and the 10 in a shot we call the can opener. Now here's a chance for Manning to catch up and even up the match. Phil Manning, of course, 37 years old, bowling for 21 years, currently averaging .229. And let's see if he can get the ball up to the pocket. He kind of threw his hands up and leaves another flat 10 on that left lane. And I don't think he caught all of it at the bottom. Not a bad shot, but certainly not enough to get up there. Ideally, you'd like to see that ball get up and kick that 6-pin out of the gutter and slap that 10 out. But unfortunately not this time. So it is spare, strike, and a conversion to the 10-pin, so he stays clean, but also stays down at 10 pins with Keny Billaut an opportunity to jump out to a 30-pin lead if he can put 2 more strikes together. And no trouble there. Takes the plastic ball across lane to the 10-pin. Here is Billaut once again, French player. Yeah, let's see how he does. I love Marc Chavet's interview when he interviews both French-speaking and English-speaking people. His English accent is absolutely flawless. Makes me wonder if he thinks in French or in English. Billaut looking for 3 in a row. Gets that cocked wrist, gets it around, and high in that right lane. That ball jumped on the mid lane there. I thought he expected it to lay off. Maybe he just got a little bit too much of it. You can see he really cocks his wrist here. Hits it really hard. So he might have just overjuiced that one a little bit. But he comes up high. Not a troublesome spare, but unfortunately he missed the pocket, so loses the opportunity to take a 30-pin lead. It will be a 9-pin lead should he convert this 4-pin. And cross lane, no trouble there. So 9-pin match after 3. Billaut with a double and a spare. Here we go. And he has that same knee bend. There's a good lesson. That's the same release as he uses for his strike ball. A lot of people don't have the same kind of form on their spares. They don't have the same balance, and it's strongly encouraged to have all the power and balance that you have on your strike ball as you shoot your spares. And that gives you the most accuracy and the highest spare conversion percentage. And here is Billaut. You can see the pin on that ball just above his fingers. And just a little bit over to the left of the finger holes. The idea there is that it uses the weight block to give a little bit of length and a little bit of strength in terms of how that ball reacts on the lane. And he gets it out to the dry once again, turns it up. Absolutely perfect strike for Keny on the left lane. And that will maintain his 9-pin lead. And look at that. No doubt about that one. Perfect in the pocket. And you can bet he did an awful lot of that in qualifying, averaging 235. Now here is Manning. He got a can opener last time on this lane, so all three of his shots have really been light in the pocket. He hasn't really stuffed one yet. Let's see if he makes an adjustment here. Oh, he stuffed that one. Perfect shot there. And Manning now with a chance to take the lead. I think he might have made a little bit of a move right just to nudge that ball a little bit higher in the pocket. And that is a no drama, no doubt 10-back strike for Phil the Machine Manning. And now Manning with a chance, if he can get the left lane to behave. He's left 2 weak 10s there. If he can get the left lane to behave, he will take the lead in this match by 1. QubicaAMF Masters Stepladder Final. And he is right. He gets it higher. He gets it. Give him the double and the lead. Phil Manning taking the lead in the 5th frame over Keny Billaut. And indeed, a great shot. I think he might have moved right on both lanes to get the ball higher in the pocket. Again, we have a 9.3 to 1 oil pattern. There's Becca Manning looking a little pensive. Becca, your man just took the lead, so that's a good thing. Let's see how Keny Billaut responds here. Again, at 9.3 to 1, it's for these players, the pocket is pretty accessible. So many times it's about tweaks that you move to try to carry. Sometimes if it's a very difficult pattern and you're in the pocket, you don't want to move. But if you're at a high scoring pattern and you're not striking, you might have to make a move even if you're hitting the pocket. Here is Billaut, gets it right out to that dry, turns it up, and he smashes the pocket for another strike and takes the lead back. So that's now double, spare double for Billaut. And there's no doubt about that one. So now he'll take the lead back. Thank you very much. And we're back to a 9-pin match in favor of Keny Billaut. Billaut has struck 4 out of his 5 times. That would be an 80% strike ratio. And indeed, for the first 5 frames and 10 shots, we've seen 7 strikes. So these guys are here to play for sure. Now Billaut up 9. Can he make it 19? He matched Manning's double. Can he get another one right here? With that concentration, taking his time. Gets through the shot, out to the dry, turn it up, comes up high, and gets the trip 6. Keny B, the bowler's best friend. That ball was high in the pocket all the way. Maybe he hit it a little harder, maybe it juiced up a little bit, but it comes up and the trips the 6. He says, thank you very, very much. Now watch the head pin go to the sideboard, come back out and kick that 6-pin forward. We call that the trip 6. And absolutely the bowler's best friend. So that's going to be now a 19-pin lead. Very important for Manning to figure something out here. And he airmails it right. That's going to be a 7 load out to the right. And maybe he hoped for the dry to bring that ball back, but he got a little fast with his feet and got it out to the right and really just kind of airmails it off to the right, leaves the 1-2-4. And that is a trouble for Manning. And then he chops the spare. And so that is a troublesome frame for Phil Manning. He might have just rushed this a little bit. Takes the plastic, throws straight at it. That's the right way to do it. But he goes heavy on the head pin and chops and leaves the 4-pin. That'll leave him open. And 90, 20, 50, all of a sudden it's a 40-pin match or so. So quite a lead now for Keny Billaut. All right, Phil, now you got to take your time. You're known for your back 5 in the pocket. He gets that one out, gets it up, and he comes up light again and leaves a washout for a 1-2-4. 2-10. Boy, these two shots have just been just to the right. Very uncharacteristic of Phil. We've seen him smash the pocket, but just twice in a row he got it to the right a little bit fast. The ball just sailed through the break point, just didn't give him any chance for a turn into the pocket, and then he only gets one there. So, and two pretty disastrous frames there for Phil Manning. And let's see if Keny Billaut can take advantage. I think it's just 213 now possible for Manning, and Billaut already pacing 229. So in very good shape now is Keny Billaut. Let's see what he can do here. And now basically just needs to stay clean, and he's going to claim this title. Those are two pretty disastrous frames there for Phil Manning. Very surprising and very uncharacteristic. We've seen Phil absolutely be iron tough. He's got the nickname of the machine for his performance in 10th frames, and just most recently against David Barak. And here is Billaut, and gets it up to the pocket, and a ring 7, but that's okay. 9 spare is a perfectly good score for Keny Billaut at this point in the proceedings, because he's pacing to the 220, which would be more than enough to win. So all he's got to do is convert this spare and move on. And he liked the shot, just a little bit late to the pocket, leaves a ringing 7. Now let's see if Billaut can convert 7 pins. Yeah, it feels like, what happened those two frames? Just the ball just airmailed right, couldn't get it to slow down, wouldn't turn up at the break point, missed the head pin right on both shots, and very, very uncharacteristic of Mr. Manning. Here's Billaut, needs the spare, and dumps it in the gutter. That will not count. And if anything, it's a little bit of a reprieve for Phil Manning. It is a 33-pin match now. The match was in the 40s. And indeed, our referee will tell us that does not count. Yeah, once the ball touches the gutter, it is out of play. So that needs to be a score correction as a 9 miss. And here we go. Keny Billaut just needs to fill 213. Now he's pacing to 216. Yeah, so the ball just jumped out of the gutter and took out that 7 pin. So it is a very, very, happens all the time in league, and all the time you have to go back and you have to correct the score. So here's Billaut trying to collect himself. Says you just need marks. 3 frames to go. Could be a long 3 frames. Let's see what happens. Stranger things have happened. Phil Manning still has 213 available, and if any of his previous performances are an indicator, he can very, very much possibly shoot that 213 by striking out. And here's Keny Billaut, throws it out to the dry, turns it up and high in the pocket. Oh, almost a 6-8 for Billaut. That would have been interesting, but he does trip the 6 pin. He really leans into this one. It turns up and comes up high and only leaves the 8. Look at that. There's the dreaded 6-8. Head pin goes off the sideboard, kicks the 10 into the 6 and takes it out. So now he just has the fairly routine 8-pin spare. And let's see if Keny can convert here. Again, spares will win the match for Keny Billaut. And goes by the 8-pin. And he misses back-to-back single pins. And what an interesting turn of events. I think he was very surprised to see that ball skid by the 8-pin. He says, oh, I missed this too. So he goes back-to-back opens. So we've seen 4 opens in a row now in this match. I think the pressure might be getting to these guys a little bit. But now, Phil Manning, interesting. If he can put a double together here, he can get it within 12. And certainly he can make, and he gets to the pocket a little bit late and leaves a 2-pin. And Keny Billaut now pacing to 205. And Manning was like, come on, come up, come up, come up, come up. Oh, he switched to that more aggressive ball. I think he's a little surprised it's not reacting better than it is. But Manning does convert the 2-pin. I think what you might be seeing here is a little bit of lane shine. And so Manning is like, okay, that's the end of you, ball. You're supposed to hook, and you're not. So let's see if he goes back to that optimum solid that he had been using, which he had all the success with last game. Actually, I checked that. He went to the more aggressive ball last game. There is the optimum solid. And let's see what he does here. Once again, these lanes are in transition. They change quite a bit. You never know what's going to happen. Every shot makes them a little bit different. And now Manning just gets up, takes that optimum idle, and goes up and just packs the pocket. And now Manning has a chance to shoot 203. And he says, "Oh, well, where has this been all my life?" And he flushes the pocket. Unfortunately, it's good ball change, but it keeps himself in the match with that strike for sure. And now it's Keny Billaut, who's missed back-to-back single pins. We've seen very few unforced errors in these matches. A little surprised here to see 4 opens in a row by these players, but Manning comes back with spare strike. Let's see what Keny Billaut can do. He just needs to beat 203, which means 2 marks would do it. And here he is on the right lane. Look at that concentration. Take a breath. Pressure's on. Relax. Oh, a nice good stroke there. Really good shot. Great comeback after the 2 misses by Keny Billaut. He took his time. He got his timing right. And watch this stroke. He gets to the line and he gets a really good stroke and really good turn on the ball. Comes up, 4-pin into the channel, kicks out the 7. And that is the strike he needed right there. Yes, sir. Let's go. One more mark. He needs to fill 19 pins in the 10th to get himself to 204. And that will be enough because Phil Manning can only shoot 203 after those 2 disastrous frames in the 7th and 8th. 6th and 7th, excuse me. Now here is Billaut. Strike wins it. Strike spare 9 wins it. Lots of ways to win here for Keny Billaut. And gets it out to the dry, turns it up and dead flush in the pocket. And that is going to do it for Keny Billaut. That's what he needed. And he comes back with the double after missing back-to-back single pins. And that is a perfect flush strike. And he got down through the shot. He says, come on, come on. Yes, sir. That's it. That's a winner right there. Keny Billaut, and as it should be, he dominated qualifying, out-averaging the field by 10 pins a game. And he comes back. Phil Manning just can't believe it. Can I please just have those 2 frames back? Please, I beg you. I'm sorry, Phil. It's a one-way ticket through this silly game we call bowling. And unfortunately, you had a couple of bad shots. You've made a lot of great shots, though. You got to really look at it that way, too. And it is Keny Billaut will take the QubicaAMF Masters crown. Congratulations to Ken. He just needs to fill, I think, anything on the lane here will do it. And he's taking all the time that he did with the last shot to make sure he throws a good shot, and he does. Out to the dry, comes up, slaps the 7, strike there, and that will put Billaut in the 220s in a rather convincing win, even though he went back-to-back open frames after Manning went back-to-back open frames. And he comes up, he says, yes, sir, that's the winning shot. He knows that. And you're taking home the title. Keny Billaut, congratulations. And the left-hander with the purple hammer gets the job done. And Phil Manning looks a bit despondent there. Let's see, I'm sure he'll finish off strong. And he'll be back next time, Phil, with a wonderful showing here on the Bowling Promotion Tour. QubicaAMF Masters stepladder. And the crowd cheering on Keny Billaut for his last shot, and he comes out a little bit high in the pocket, gets 7. That will be the 2-2-2 score for Keny Billaut. That will be enough, and gets the hug from Phil Manning, and not much Phil can do at this point. And Keny says, thank you very much. Keep it on the lane. All right, let's go. We win. Phil Manning now just bowling it out. And how much will you bet these are going to be 2 strikes and 2 great shots? He says, why didn't I switch that optimum idle earlier? It was so good to him. But, of course, he had trouble with it in the last frame. In the last game, that's why he went to the more aggressive ball. So you just don't know what's going to work in a one-game match. And you can be loath to switch because there's so much pressure and so little time, so few frames to try to catch up. But Phil Manning, nothing to be ashamed of. A great player and a great showing here on this QubicaAMF Masters stepladder. And watch this, right to the pocket. Boom! Another strike. Of course, 3 in a row. And he says, oh no, why didn't I do that 2 frames sooner? And he says, oh, what a shame. And he says, no, look at this, watch this. Boom, of course. And now that we're out of wood, we can throw all the strikes we need. And Phil a little bit disappointed he didn't make that switch sooner, but a great showing here for Phil Manning. And there's that Ion Pro, and watch that ball hook. Hooks right through the nose, and that will be 200 even by Phil Manning. And there's the hug, congratulatory hug by Keny Billaut. Congratulations to Keny and Phil. A great match, and thank you guys for this exciting action here on the Bowling Promotion Tour. And of course, thanks to my friends Marc Chavet and Bruno Bidone. Bruno, our most excellent organizer. There's your final score. Both bowlers going strike 7 in the 10th. 222-200 victory, Keny Billaut over Phil Manning. And as we look at some stats here, and stay tuned for the interview, Marc Chavet will wrap us up and interview our contestants here. There's Billaut, 222, Manning 200, 8 strikes for Billaut, 6 for Phil Manning. And Sphère 3-1 opens 2 key opens for Phil Manning in the 6th and 7th frames. Missing the head pin on both shots really cost him the match. But then Keny Billaut almost gave it back by missing 2 back-to-back single pins. So here we go. And again, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned to the same channel for team competition. My name is Bruce Hall. There is Becca consoling Phil. Phil is despondent over that, and that's bowling, Phil. You'll be back, and you'll be back stronger than ever. Stay tuned, please, for our interview with Marc Chavet.
Well, the post-match interview here was a dramatic final going right down to the wire here with Phil Manning. Just Phil, this was an emotional roller coaster. Again, this time it didn't go your way, unfortunately. We saw just literally you just burst into tears. That meant so much to you, this final, and just faltering so close to the finish line. A dramatic experience indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I promised myself all the way through that I wouldn't give anything away. I've said it before, that make them work all the way right to the end, just like they made me work, and just I did the thing that I said I wasn't going to do, which is the most frustrating part. I wanted to make him work. I wanted to make him earn it. All right, he gave me a chance to return the favour, but I opened the door for him to do exactly the thing that I've been doing to everybody else for this tournament, and that's the frustration, that's the emotion, because not doing that, I make him work just a little bit harder and maybe force a mistake in my favour, but it didn't work out this way. The luck ran out, unfortunately.
Luck ran out indeed. You did survive the quarterfinals and the semifinals to stop here, or be stopped rather, by Keny the Grizzly Billaut, the Frenchman, shooting or bowling on home soil as well. Let's bring Keny in as well for the winner of the championship, the competition. Let's have you side by side if that's cool. Keny, you can jump in the shot here if you will. Keny va nous dire un petit mot. Tout d'abord, les félicitations évidemment à son adversaire. Keny, this victory means a lot for you, obviously, winning on French soil, defeating a powerhouse like Phil Manning. That's a representation, something that means a lot to you. Ça représente beaucoup pour toi, Keny, cette victoire sur le sol français, bien sûr, et battre quelqu'un du calibre de Phil Manning en finale.
Oui, tout à fait. C'est vrai que ça fait du bien de gagner, surtout contre Phil, qui est vraiment un très très bon joueur, d'une qualité exceptionnelle. il remonte la pente à chaque fois, à chaque partie. Donc c'est vrai que quand j'arrive à froid, je me dis il va tout donner encore, il va essayer de me dévorer. Et j'ai réussi à résister à la tentation. Je suis passé par-dessus, donc vraiment une immense joie parce que battre un joueur de ce calibre-là, c'est exceptionnel.
Well, Keny telling us this means a lot indeed to beat a player of this profile, of this caliber. It's obviously something a day unlike any other indeed, going all the way to the championship win as well, getting the win on French soil. And for me, it's just, scenes of joy, and I'm just super happy to have achieved that indeed. Thank you so much, Keny, for the perspective. Thank you, gentlemen, for providing us with such an entertaining final to commentate as well. And thank you to all the viewers who are enjoying the entirety of this massive tug of war between the two of you. It's been great. Hope to see more of it in the near future as well. But for now, let's hand it over to myself, actually, because I'm going to question Damien for QubicaAMF, who's going to be joining us here on the interview deck as well. Damien for the sponsor, QubicaAMF. Damien is head of marketing and other operations at the brand. So this is a brand that's known here in France as more of an entertainment brand. But now, obviously, putting your stamp pretty much all around the competition here, you guys are going up one notch, establishing yourselves on the professional circuit as well.
Exactement, et effectivement nous on est plutôt connus en France pour le monde du loisir et cet événement avec toute la production télé là, qui a vraiment pris du galon sur cette année avec cette grande équipe, toutes ces lumières, toute la mise en place, vraiment c'est impressionnant et toute cette lumière mise sur le bowling sportif, c'est vraiment important pour nous en France pour amener un peu plus de monde dans les bowling et pourquoi pas les faire licencier à la Fédération française.
Also, Damien telling us, indeed, traditionally we're known as an entertainment brand. We're in the bowling alleys all across the country. But this time, promoting our brand as part of a make like this, as part of a bowling promotion tour, outfit, professional players, going up in caliber as well. Just associating our brand with an event of this caliber is a great step for us. We're moving in the right direction. We're looking perhaps in the future to do more of this kind of thing. So, Damien, thank you so much for the insight indeed.